the number one thing, the number one mistake I see people make, especially in the influencer world, is they rely on just the regular monetization that everybody else relies on. I think number one, if you have to go climb a mountain or something and figure out what your mission is, that's number one, the first thing you should do. Like, what's my mission? When they put me in the ground, what do I want to be known for? That question right there should point you to the business.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Time ago, I had this idea doing kind of like a talk show, but it's called the Business Answer Man, where I could just give you some good answers on business questions. Carolyn, do you have any questions? I'd love to know a little bit about your business first, too.
I've been into CCX. Did that for a couple years. Been
Okay.
to a few funnel hacking lives. I've
Nice.
pivoted numerous times, had partners, one partner, and he was more of the tech, and I was more of the sales front end. And now I am coaching. I've done challenges, and I'm coaching women real estate agents on how to be unique and not blend into the crowd. I call it conversion coaching. So we try to do things that convert, have a higher level of converting.
Nice.
Yes.
That sounds like a really good niche to work in, because realtors can seem like they're a dime a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you stand out in that market?
Well, that's what I tell them all the time too. I'm like, you guys get inundated with so much training, but everybody gets the same training. So you're all
Right.
doing the same thing. So nobody's unique. Nobody has an offer. Everyone just has a commission.
As far as
I
coaching.
have several questions.
Yeah.
One is, a lot of people talk about finding a partner, and I would love to do that because I'm more of the front end salesperson, and I need the tech. Somebody who I force myself to do the tech, but just that doesn't bring me joy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I'm trying to find someone there, and I don't know if you have any words of wisdom to try, like, where to look besides like Facebook groups. I've tried numerous things, and I get on there, and after going through Russell's stuff, and I've been through Tony Robbins, Dean Graciosi, and I've also worked for Marriott in events. And so my customer service level, I worked in a conventions hotel. We were in the top 5 of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So I work at a very high level, and it's just hard to find people like in that next place. Like, everyone's kind of like subpar, and I don't want to work like that. So that's my biggest question. Let's see, for the hacks. And I have this is a general broad question, but if you had to start a business today in this time and place, what would it be? And then the other one is, from talking to all the people that you coach, what is the biggest hack to get people to implement?
Yeah, your question about finding a good tech partner, I think that's what you're looking for specifically, somebody who can do the tech so that you don't have to deal with that part. As far as actually seeking somebody out, I've always kind of been a do-it-yourselfer, which is a fault of mine. We recommend you find the best person to do that job for you and all that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and then sometimes you find somebody and they just don't do it as good as you do.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that part of it.
Right.
I say the best way probably to find them is to talk to the people who are already hitters, go-getters, they're already doing well, and say, hey, who do you know? Maybe it's somebody that's worked for them already in the past. And like, if somebody came to me and they said, hey, who do you know that can do this? And I worked with somebody in the past, and they're perfect and they're great. So in a way, they're vetted.
Okay.
When you approach somebody who's really already, far ahead, doing really well, they probably know those people. They've probably been through, the ones that aren't so great, and they found the ones that are great.
Yes.
And maybe that person's looking for work right now, So that's how I would approach that one. And then you had a question about, this was a really good question. If you had to start a business today, what would that business be? Is that the question?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm going to put it this way. But I got in touch with my mission when I was 19 years old. And my mom took me to a real estate seminar. And it was one of those no money down real estate seminars that were really big back in the late 80s. Mm-hmm. And I saw that guy up on stage, and I said, I want to be that guy. And not because, even though I was 19 and I could see he made a lot of money, all that kind of thing. But what I saw was my mission is to help people become entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was a kid, my parents used to fight over money.
Mm-hmm.
I was like 5 years old, and my parents would fight about money, and it was always money. That was the main thing that they fought about, and it traumatized me. Like
Mm-hmm.
it got me thinking, well, what if they split up? What happens to me, little me? And so when I saw that guy up on stage and he was teaching people a different way to make money than the average person, like go to school, go get a job, and that kind of thing,
Right.
I was like, that's me. I want to be that evangelist for entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
So in answering that question about if I had to start a business over again, it would actually be what I'm doing now, which is teaching, coaching entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
helping entrepreneurs to be successful. And that's what I would start. Now, that doesn't help you. What might help you, though, what would I do if I started a business? Let's say you know what business you want to start, or let's say you end up in a business that you think is a good one for you. What would I do? The number one most important thing I would do is focus on building an email list for that business.
Okay.
Like that's the mistake I see so many people make. And right now, one of my clients is a couple of young ladies that are kicking butt on YouTube right now. They're, I guess you could say influencers, but they're YouTubers. And just had a session with one of them, and I was talking to them about how what I'm doing, like what I'm doing with a brand new YouTube channel. I'm like, YouTube subscribers to me mean nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Email subscribers to me mean everything.
Right.
So all we're doing is everything we do on YouTube is designed to get that email subscriber.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could care less if I end up with 200,000 YouTube subscribers, because that doesn't pay the bills.
Right.
I mean, it might pay a little bit of the bills, but what really pays the bills is getting those people on an email list, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole strategy around that. If we have time later, I can explain a little bit about that strategy. But the number one mistake I see people make, especially in the influencer world, is they rely on just the regular monetization that everybody else relies on. I think number one, if you have to go climb a mountain or something and figure out what your mission is, that's number one, the first thing you should do. Like, what's my mission? When they put me in the ground, what do I want to be known for? That question right there, should point you to the business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if what you want to be known for is underwater basket weaving, then maybe you shouldn't do that business, right?
Right.
Right. It should be realistic. There should be something tied to it that can be monetized.
I'd like to talk to you about the Switch Away movement, which is helping people switch away from the big box consumer goods products that we all buy every week and switching toward far better quality products from a family-owned manufacturer here in the US. You may have seen this graphic that shows that almost every brand imaginable is owned by 11 giant corporations, and these corporations don't care very much about the quality they put into these products. So you end up buying low quality or even potentially toxic and dangerous products for your home without even knowing it. This can lead to disease, allergic reactions, and we don't even know that this is what's causing it. These giant corporations have way too much control over other things through what they promote in their stores or in their advertising. Maybe you don't support those things, but you feel like you have no choice. So you run to Target or Walmart to continue buying those products that are harmful to our bodies and our values at the same time. So if the idea of switching away to a higher quality, US-made, family-owned consumer goods company that actually cares about the ingredients they put into their products, in other words, they use far more healthy ingredients, and that compares favorably to the big box brands in terms of price, all delivered conveniently to your home, then be sure to visit switchaway.com/Dave to learn more about switching away. I switched away for me and my family, and I think you'll like it too.
Third question. Boy, it's a good thing you got in first, Caroline. How do you get people to implement when you're coaching them? How do you get them to implement? Here's what I think. I think if you're fired up and excited about it for them, that excitement will transfer to them. And they'll be like, yeah, I want to do this, And then especially if you're coaching them, of course, you've got accountability, right? You see them next week or you see them next time you meet with them. And you now, hey, how did it go? and you keep them going and you keep them excited about it. So to me, like, a coach isn't worth their salt if they A, haven't done it before, and B, can't get fired up for their client. Like, can't get totally excited for their client to implement. And so if I tell somebody to do something, typically I'm showing them, hey, look how I did it, and let me show you how this worked and how great it can work for you. I think it's your conviction and your excitement about that will carry over to them.
That's a good answer. Most people tell me when I did my podcast, 99% of the time, the last comment was, "You have so much energy." So that's good. Okay, very cool.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I don't. I'm an introvert. I'm a low-key guy. But I've been getting excited about this tonight. I was like, man, there's all these great friends that I know from Two Count Club and all this stuff. And so I've been fired up to just be here. So you're going to see me in rare form.
Yeah, thank you.
Meaning that I'm actually smiling a little here and there.